Welcome guys, my name's Oink and this is going to be advanced QuickScoping and sniping tutorial video. I'm going to go through various aspects of sniping in general, different attachments, and then some more advanced techniques for quickscopers at the end. So we're going to start off here with the regular scoping times, and the scoping time is 0.82, and that's for the actual scope to be brought up, and from there it's an additional 0.13 to the idle sway, so 0.95 altogether to get to the idle sway stage. The ACOG then, it's a 0.1 scoping time, which is much faster, significantly faster than all the other scopes. The problem with the ACOG though is it doesn't truly represent where the scope is. It doesn't show you the random stage, so if you try and shoot too fast, your bullet will fly off in a random direction. To use the ACOG scope and quickscope, you really have to be on top of your timings and know exactly when things are going to happen. The infrared sight then, this actually acts exactly the same as the regular scope, so I won't bring up the times again, you can just go back and check that. It's exactly the same though. The variable scope then, there's been a lot of preconceptions about this and maybe misconceptions. It actually acts exactly the same as the regular scope. Basically the only difference is it's a matter of preference. It brings up a bit different, but the scoping and the time to idle sway exactly the same, guys. I've tested this out and I've timed it and it is exactly the same, so that's that one sort of cleared up for you. Next we're going to move on to the idle sway. There's been a bit of a rumor going around that Scout Pro decreases your idle sway. This is idle sway without scout. So you can see there it's lined up with that sort of line on the shed door, the bunker door there. Oh, that's the furthest right. So you can see the furthest right on that line on the door. The furthest left matches up sort of down the back of that woman, right central. So you can see there, that's the idle sway without Scout Pro. Now with Scout Pro, again lined up with the line on the right hand side of the door and straight down the woman's back. That's with Scout Pro, so you can see there that it's the same. Moving on then to steady aim. I've made these kind of blobby, but that's without steady aim. This is with steady aim, and the statistic is actually 2.2. That may not mean much to you, but it basically means your no scopes are twice as likely to hit. Moving on now to Hardened. I've done a bit of split screen here, so you guys can see what's happening. The top screen doesn't have Hardened, the bottom screen does. So through this reconstituted wood, it takes 2 hits with Hardened, and it also takes, well, 2 hits without, so you can just see that there. The thin wood, 2 shots without Hardened, and with Hardened it is a 1-hit kill. Then this metal here is actually impenetrable, surprisingly. You can see there I'm aiming right above where his hand is poking through the wall, and right below nothing goes through that. Those are just a few examples, but Hardened Pro makes a little bit of difference, I guess. Then, so recapping, the thicker wood was Hardened 1 shot and no Hardened 2 shots. The metal was impenetrable, and the reconstituted wood was 2 shots with either. So now we're moving on to some quickscoping, and this is going to be straight shots. So this is when your target stood still or running towards you or away from you. When you scope in, you get the random stage and the drag up straight into your target, just as before in my previous video. I'll show it again in slow motion. Random stage, drags up straight into the center of your target, brings him down. So, as you can see, if he was moving, your target would actually, the center of your crosshairs wouldn't end up on your target. So that's what I'm going to show you next. Oh, actually, we got another. It's more of a drag scope. See, I'll readjust, and then I bring it over to the left. So that's dragging onto a standing still target. So if you aim in not centrally to the target, you'll need to readjust, and if you're standing still, it'll actually be not too difficult to do it. Trouble comes when you've got to hit a moving target, and this is a good example of it right here. So I'm going to pause it here and sort of explain a few things. I've paused it exactly when I start scoping in, and if you can see there, the crosshairs have actually gone red. For those of you that don't know this already, I'm sure you will do. When you're central to your target, your crosshairs will go red. This is the point where I start to scope in. Now, because the target is running to my right hand side, if I just held L1 and nothing else, by the time the crosshair is centered, he will have been to my right hand side and the shot will miss. So there's several ways of sort of counteracting this, I guess you could say. One would be to drag the scope as you're zooming in. So you actually move your aim, and as he's running across, readjust. You're going to have pretty quick reaction times and a really sort of subtle touch of the stick. You're going to have to be pretty accurate with your sniper rifle to do this. The other one is more of a drag scope like Modern Warfare 2. So you wait till your scope is fully scoped in and you've got the crosshairs, and then as the idle sway stage is being brought up, you continue to drag it in the direction that your target is running, and it should bring the hit up. A good sniper should be able to do either, and a lot of times both, which is what I actually managed to do here. So I'm going to play the tape now, or just about now, and you'll see how I managed to adjust it. So I start moving in a little bit before the scope comes up, and then continue to move it to the right as the random stage comes up, and land a nice hit on my target. This next clip then is of target going left, and I'll play the clip in slow motion. In this one it's really clear that I'll pause it there. You see I'm actually starting slightly to the right of my target, so I'm going to make more of an adjustment, and you'll really see here, like I was saying, that I move before I'm actually scoped in there. See, I move the scope before I'm scoped in, it drags up into the middle, and the target's centered. And it is trickier, but it is manageable. So this is demonstrating a long shot now, and long shots are much harder, and similarly to Modern Warfare 2 long shots really, because you've got to take into account the idle sway, and even in Modern Warfare 2 it's very difficult to judge the idle sway. And for longer shots, for those of you that quickscoped in Modern Warfare 2, you guys will know that long shots are hard because you've got to judge the idle sway. What I would suggest is just put a little bit more time, and allow yourself just an extra split second to adjust and center your targets before you take the shot. That way you're more likely to hit your target. Again, get two nice ones in a row here. Just takes a little bit extra, center the target, get the shot away. So that's that, guys. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I mean I hope it's been a help for you, and if it has, be sure to leave some comments. If you've got any questions, I'll definitely answer them. And like I was saying, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up rating, you know, and if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, definitely come over to my channel and subscribe to me if you want to do that. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.